there. So if you're here for speeding up your Android device, you've come to the right place. So this is Firefox Destroyer. This is my first Android tutorial video. See how it turns out. And this is the video that I want to use to teach you, help you how to speed up your Android device by the methods that I will list here in this video. You can get better battery life, better performance in games, apps, everything, and just get a better experience overall if you use these tips. Getting right into the video, the first tip is device care. You know, like anything equivalent is okay. So device care, for me, it's a Samsung thing. Device care is a utility that you can use to optimize your Samsung or your Android device if you have something equivalent, because I don't know what you have. So you can see, like, turn on power saving mode, set background usage limits, like optimize your storage by taking out unnecessary photos and apps and video and everything, documents, whatever. And then the memory, and like you on compatible devices, which is probably most of every like current Samsung device, you can use a RAM Plus, and you can customize what you need. And there's also a way to turn it off in One UI 4, and I use that there. So you can clean it, and you can just use this button to optimize it. And what's cool is that device care, you can use widget. You can use a device care widget to see your current memory usage and your current storage usage, and there's an optimize button right there, so you can optimize your device. I don't know about other devices if they have widgets for that, but yeah. And you can also go back in, battery. You can turn on power saving mode, and you can go in here, I don't know, turn on power saving mode or something. Yeah, that's a cool thing to have and to use, and you should definitely use it more. The tip I want to give you is to just have less widgets on your home screen. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 widgets. And I guess if you have more than that, that's just too much, especially if you have them all on a single page. And if you have more than 3 widgets, spread them across to the other page. But if you want the most RAM available possible for your applications, take out your widgets, especially the ones you don't need. Like maybe the screen time widget. As you can see, I've been on my device for too long, but maybe I don't want to know that because I don't like negativity, so I can remove that. And if I like knowing that I'm using my tablet too much, I can just put it back. Okay, I didn't put it back there. But yeah, just take out the widgets that you don't need, and that'll free up RAM for your applications and make your home screen look better. So, the third tip is to use gestures like I'm using here. So, here I'm using iPhone-like gestures that Samsung has graciously provided to us. And yeah, you can use your back button by swiping from the left edge of the screen or right edge of the screen. And if you want to enable that or customize it even more, you go to display and then navigation bar. I'm pretty sure that's how it is on most devices. And here you have the choice of buttons or swipe gestures. You can have more options. If you click swipe gestures, you have more options than swipe gestures. So you can use that, swipe from bottom, which is basically buttons, but it takes up less space. And then I'm using the iPhone-like gestures, swipe from sides and bottom, and you can adjust your sensitivity here, like that, and it'll have highlights on the screen, yeah. And buttons is what comes with the device by default, and you can customize it really well. Me personally, I don't like buttons because they're kind of unresponsive, especially on mid-range devices. I've seen on other people's devices who have flagship ones, their buttons are super speed, bro. So if you don't like the unresponsiveness of the buttons, you can use swipe gestures. And swipe gestures, they're like, you can swipe up to go home. It's really cool. You can swipe up and hold to bring up your recent apps, and swipe from the edges, the left or right, to go back. And there's also another type of swipe gestures in more options, swipe from bottom, which is, yeah, I already said, it's basically like buttons, except they're not labeled and they take up less space. So let me show you. Yeah, so swipe gestures, you can see, like, you can enable gesture hints or not. I usually recommend you enable gesture hints if you have the iPhone, not iPhone, like gestures, the swipe from bottom gestures, because, you can not see where they are. So, and, okay, not that. If you're using swipe from sides and bottom, you don't need to use gesture hints. You can just, it's like really cool. And you should totally try out gestures. Like, it's really nice. And I'm gonna enable gesture hint because that's me. So, my fourth tip is, have you ever wondered if you could lower the resolution of your screen? On flagship devices with higher resolution screens, like on Samsung phones like the Note 20 Ultra, the S23 Ultra, whatever, you can adjust the motion smoothness and screen resolution. But unfortunately for me, I'm that, well, not really poor kid, but I got a tablet with a 60Hz display and also a display which only meets basically 1080p. So I don't have that. So you have to install an app for that. So I recommend Purr if you want to adjust the resolution. And it's like really cool. It opens up and it's really snappy. It opens up really fast. It's really snappy. And it has no ads, so it's going to not be a nuisance. But you have to set it up with ADB, so I recommend Brevant for that. And you have to set it up. Look up another tutorial to set up Brevant. I don't want to make a tutorial inside a tutorial. Okay. On to the next tip. Fifth tip. We're already to the fifth tip after, I don't know. I'm not going to say. So, the fifth tip, just free your apps from the grasp of you. Okay, that's too unclear. Just uninstall the apps that you do not need. I don't need messages, but I can't uninstall that. That's sad, but just uninstall the apps that you installed that you don't need. Like if you have F-Droid, for example, and you don't even have any apps from there, you can just uninstall that right from the home screen. If you don't need PlayStation Remote Play, oh yeah, I definitely need that because, yeah, never mind. Or, I definitely don't need OneDrive. Okay, you can't, well, Brevant, so I don't need that anymore because I, like, set up Purr, but at the same time I want to keep it Virtual Master. Okay, well, that's besides the point. Yeah, just uninstall any apps that you do not need and you don't care about, and yeah, you're good there. So yeah, on to the next tip. We're near the end. We're like more than 70. We're 75% there. So the sixth tip is like, other people have this can improve your performance by a lot, and I don't think it's a good way of doing it. So it's faster animations, making your animations faster. So if you want to do it, you have to enable developer options. and I already have that enabled, but I'm going to show you how. So go to About whatever device you have, software information, and then go down to the build number. It's just stuff, and then tap that 7 times, because 7 is lucky, and that'll enable the developer options, and it'll say you are now a developer. That's what it'll say at the bottom. So now you can scroll down until you see drawing, and then if you see animation scale and animator duration scale, you're good. So you can set them all to 0.5 and have your device super speed literally. But I don't like this stupid super speed apps. I can set them all to 1 if I wanna, or set them anywhere in between 0.5 and 1 with another app. I don't have that installed, but some hidden settings apps can make that a reality. I think, no, not hidden settings apps, hidden system settings apps, whatever they're called. But yeah, they can help you adjust it more to your control. So yeah, this has gone for a long time. I need to go to the next tip. So this 7th tip is reducing the transparency and blur of certain elements. Like this, you see the blur, the big blur, and then the big blur in the background without the applications being blurred. Yeah, I hate that. And then if you pull down the action center, there's also blur. And also, like, if you have trouble reading, enable this setting. And also, if you want to have the most snappy experience, like stuff can load fast, do this. So go into settings, as we always do, and go down to accessibility, the accessibility tab, and there should be a setting for reduced transparency. In my case, it's in visibility enhancements. So reduce transparency and blur, and it's enabled, and you see there's no blur in the background, and the folder window is now solid. And if I pull this down, the stuff in the background is more easily seen, and it looks worse, but the blur is what is removed. So that's good because it doesn't need to load in as fast. Load in as much stuff. So that's probably a good tip, but that's optional. This is an optional tip, so yeah. And now you're at the end of the video, the 8th tip, so you're not at the end of the video. And it's clearing your cache. So you go to settings, and I think this is getting annoying for you at this point. So let's go to apps, the apps tab, and you see all these apps. You have to clear the cache individually for every single one of them if they're able to be cleared of cache. So storage, you can clear the cache right there, and clear the cache of classroom if you need to. Clear it. But this is annoying. Is there another way to do this, you're saying? And yes, there is, and I have to get my iPhone out for this, so be right back. Hello there, welcome to the real world, where you can see my feet, my legs, my hands, more feet, my computer, and my tablet, and my cable. And what we'll need to do what we need to do is a cable, a computer that's on, and a tablet, or anything, the device that you're doing all of this on. So you turn your thing off, and make sure your computer is on, by the way. Turn it off. To hide behind this phone. And yeah, it's off. And you plug in the cable, because what we're doing is we're entering recovery mode. If you don't know what recovery mode is, it's basically a place where if your Android operating system on your device is corrupted, you can enter it and just do cool stuff to get it back. So you can factory reset it, maybe even restart it if you didn't mean to enter it. So what you need to do to enter it, you got the power and volume up buttons, and then you push them down so hard that you feel like choking them. Oh shoot! I mean, never mind. Yeah, and release them when the Samsung, whatever logo comes up. Release it when that stuff comes up, and it should enter recovery mode. And we've got the Grand Theft Auto 4L. That's crazy. We're in Android recovery mode. And use volume up and down to go up and down. And power to select because it doesn't turn off right now. So now we're in recovery mode. Do not click this. I swear if you do. Wipe cache partition because we're clearing the cache, right? So press the power button when you have that highlighted. And don't mind this. Just click yes. And it should do that. Yeah, and it said that twice for some reason. And then press the power button again because it automatically highlights reboot system now. And it's gonna restart. And this video will continue if this was successful. Fortunately, the cache erasure was successful and my device is still intact, which means this method is safe to do if you do the stuff that I did properly. So let me see, the cache should be almost empty. So let's go back to apps. It'll load the apps and I'll do something random like device care, and it should have no cache or barely any cache. Yep, 567 kilobytes, aka 0.6 megabytes, which is basically no cache. So it did wipe the cache of everything. So this was successful, and if you followed everything through, it should have helped at least a little bit. If it didn't help at all, try doing everything again. And if it didn't work, I don't know. I hope this did help, and I wish you a very good morning, afternoon, evening, night, midnight, or whatever time you're in. So, bye, and I'll have if I put an end screen here, I'm gonna have it like right here, like right now. Okay, bye.